And welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Track Talk, where we get a chance to sit down with the voice of Sunland Park Racetrack and Casino, Eric Alwan, and not only review the races from this past weekend, but also preview the races coming up this weekend. Eric, first off, welcome back. It was a cold morning in El Paso, but now, as usual, things starting to turn out the way they always do. It's going to be a beautiful week for racing.
Super cold. You even had to take Joel to school late, right?
I did.
Because of the pushback, huh? Yeah. It's cold here in the press box, I'll tell you.
I believe it. It is going to be
this weekend.
It's going to be all heating up with a monster set of stakes races. But before we get to all of that, I know the Winsham Lad Handicap had been canceled from Sunday, but there was still we still had 3 big days of live racing. What were some of the highlights for you from this past weekend?
You know, a week ago today, Enrique Gomez, who's been, one of our top riders for over a decade, he won the first 4 races on the card on Tuesday, and I thought that was exceptional. He was close to winning 5, and he had the hot hand. He was just doing everything right. There were some non-favorites in that sequence that he won, and I think that, that kind of a day certainly projected him close to the top of the rider standings. About 2 weeks ago, I failed to mention on a previous Zoomcast that, Flacco Capellucci almost won 6 on a Tuesday card that was devoted to thoroughbreds. So, in the young part of the meet, human-wise, it seems like Flacco Capellucci and Ricky Gomez, there's been some bubbling about from Luis Fuentes. He's been winning, and I'm sure he's going to explode soon. But Flacco Capellucci is at the forefront of the trainer standings.
Terrific news. And again, this is some of these new names that, we haven't necessarily gone into depth about like we have others. And, and it just shows me it's going to be a pretty competitive meet this year.
Mm-hmm. You know what else happened?
What's that?
The four-legged deck, not the two-legged deck. Two-legged deck, I don't know what happened. But there's a four-legged deck that impressed me. A big, beautiful gray gelding. An 870-yard lover. Really impressed fans here on Saturday, winning a very tough allowance for quarter horses and thoroughbreds. And I think that we have an 870 stakes race for the first time in my memory, well, at least a few years here at Sunland, and that's the Star Western Wear Stakes. So anyone that's listening, beware of Dak running in that race, the Star Western Wear Stakes, probably February 4th. Perfect timing, because that would be about, a 2-week rest since his last win here.
That's a good preview.
Dak is a pretty well-known Texas-based racehorse that's a veteran. 7-year-old. He's earned $400,000. Primarily not at the, the popular distances. He likes to go further than 440. He likes 550 and 870. And he's trained by the hottest quarter horse trainer on the ground, J.J. Gonzalez III.
Is Dak spelled just like Dak Prescott?
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed.
You know what's interesting? Dak Prescott was a rookie like 7 years ago.
That was quite a game.
Oh, God. Don't bring it up for Cowboys fans. I always wonder if horses are named after football players, because Dak would have been a rookie 7 years ago, and if the owner was a big Cowboys fan, it's possible that you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
I think it was.
Huh.
Of course, the horse was bred 8 years ago, but they could wait a while. Horses are unnamed sometimes till they reach the age of 2. Oh yeah, I'd say that's 100% dead on.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's nice to see a horse run good to his namesake.
There you go. Hey, meanwhile, this weekend, man, oh man, we have first off, the 50th anniversary of the Shoe Fly is going to be Saturday. 50th running of this race, the 400-yard sprint.
Steve.
Yep. Talk about it for me.
Hey, that's a longer run than me, Steve. I've only lasted a mere 34. Shoot.
It's going to be awesome. And by the way, tell me about just the field that is going to be involved for these 3-year-olds.
I really like this race, Steve. It's worth a ton of money, about $250,000. We had trials for it back on January the 7th, so they've had a good long rest. And they're not babies anymore. These are 3-year-olds, newly turned 3-year-olds. And I saw some amazing performances from some of the top qualifiers. Probably most notably, Flash Divine comes to mind, because when do we not talk about, the legendary All-American Futurity winning trainer, Wes Giles? Every year he's got, an impact in our races. And he's the trainer of Flash Divine. And this is a horse that did show ability at 2 back in 2022. He qualified for a Futurity at Sunray, a race that I even called. But it seemed like he got better than that late in his 2-year-old year, and then really good in the trials that we had 3 weeks ago. He's by First Moon Flash, arguably the greatest stud in quarter horse racing, no matter if it's open or New Mexico breds. So he's going to be a major player. And this Noe Garcia, I should be mentioning him each and every week, because he's riding at about a 20% clip, and he's a quarter horse rider. So he rides on Fridays and Saturdays. And this Flash Divine looks sharp, ready, fresh. Interesting horse, though, in Wahini. I would beware of Wahini. Wahini was actually just a touch, a couple hundredths faster in the trials. And then there's another one that Escar Ramirez is riding, First Lady on Canvas. And that horse, that filly's only won her last 4 races. So she's a major threat. To be honest with you, it looks like the contention runs deep on the outside. Flash Divine, the 7th. Wahini, the 8th. The trial winner, Mires a la Luna, in the 9 hole. And then the 10, First Lady on Canvas. I think I'll be one of those 4. I really do.
Shoe Fly will be highlighting Saturday.
Corner, yep. I would probably go for Flash Divine.
I believe it. Shoe Fly highlighting Saturday's races. Sunday, what a day that's going to be for you thoroughbred fans. We have 4 big stakes races. There's a 6 furlong race, 2 6.5 furlong races, and the mile, which will be the big one, the Riley Allison Derby, the 59th running of the Riley Allison Derby. But we've got the 25th running of the Borderplex Stakes. We've got the 20th running of the Jameson Memorial Handicap, and we've got the 18th running of the Fort Bliss Stakes. So, Eric, Sunday is a monster day in horse racing here at Sunland.
And with Dallas out of the way, we should be okay. There should be lots of attention, at least locally. I know the NFC and AFC championships are going on, but this is probably the 3rd or 2nd best weekend of the season. Only 2nd or 3rd to the Sunland Derby Day, because this will be the first live prep for that race, and the Riley Allison Derby, in its 59th renewal, will be the 9th and final on Sunday. And got to give a lot of credit to Sean Windsor and his great staff in the racing office, getting 10 plus 2 also eligibles, into this race. So it looks like there was plenty of interest for this $100,000 race. And horses are coming from pretty much everywhere in the Southwest, California, Arizona, and New Mexico. Todd Fincher, as a matter of fact, has the 3 outside horses in the 8, 9, and 10. He has Malmo, Garuvan, an American Outlaw horse that's been seen at Remington Park. Casey Lambert has a Go Zapper son called Zia Zapper, who will love the extra real estate. But you know who the sleeper in the race is, probably, Steve?
Who's
Wild
that?
on Ice from the resurgent Joel Marsh stable. And Joel's been throwing winners at us left and right since the meet started. And this is a horse that impressed me so much at the Hobbs meet. Has enough early speed to get himself into the race early, has the type of breeding that can go long, and he drew pretty well. He's in the 2 hole going a mile, and Kenny Tohill will be riding him. So it's a great betting race. There's others to worry about. Robertino Diodoro's bringing us a horse called Loudmouth Soup. He could be dangerous. I think the Robeson Zone. How did he do that? So, wow, that's a Steve Asmussen trained runner. So that'll certainly be the marquee race of the day that we'll close on. The Jameson Memorial Handicap came up huge with 12 runners going 6.5. That's a New Mexico bred race. Dallas Spartans Thunderdome is going to take some beating in that race. He's sharp and a veteran and ready to go. No Pasanada, one last time out. He's in the race. Cheese Tray for Todd Fincher is going to be a big threat. Really looking forward to those 2 back-to-back races.
It sounds like it's going to be, just a packed day. What can you tell me about the Borderplex Stakes, Eric, and the Fort Bliss Stakes?
I like that Borderplex a lot, even though it's a compact field, just 5. But these are all sparkling fillies, all of them. And Christian Dioro is a Bolt Dioro filly that Todd has developed into quite a smashing runner. All the horses that she smashed at Zia have done well and come back and run well. So although this might be her first squash into the stakes division, I think she's very dangerous. She's so fast. But Todd's probably got another horse that's even better, and that's Flying Connection. Flying Connection won a big money stakes race at Zia and defeated a Steve Asmussen runner. So right now, as it stands, I think that Flying Connection is going to be your 3-2 favorite, and really just wants to get it on right from the beginning. Quick, has good staying power, could be the star, at least in the filly part of the Todd Fincher stable. Greg Green has Foolish Delight, and I made some notations on that one as a horse to watch. So, I mean, there's really not many you can throw out there. Nancy Summers trains the one-horse Love Tank, and Steve Asmussen's bringing us another one in a horse called Fee. And that horse has been running in Kentucky at Turfway Park. So it's a good way to start off an all-stakes Pick 4. That'll be the first leg of it, at least.
I also love the fact that there's so many shippers coming in for these races.
There's interest. The money's solid. Hopefully the weather will oblige. And, the Borderplex dovetails into the Island Fashion. Of course, the Island Fashion is the prep for the big Sunland Park Oaks, which is worth 300 large. So it pays to run here and get a little used to the confines. It always seems like some juggernaut always comes in and wins those 2 races, the Oaks and our Derby, without having a prep. But it can go the other way too. We've seen it. Runaway Ghost participated in our preps and won it all, won the Sunland Derby. I mean, it's just an amazing set of races that we have from here on out. The next 60 days are the most important part of the meet.
I'll tell you this much, 61 degrees and sunny. That's the current forecast for Sunday afternoon.
Thank goodness, Steve. We really need that. It's been cold most of the meets.
Yeah, that's true.
To not help, but
12,
we're pretty lucky.
12:25 post time. Yep, for all the races this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Tuesdays as well. Eric, I can't wait. It's going to be a great weekend. Sunday's unbelievable.
Thanks so much, Steve.
And thank you for joining us here on Track Talk. We'll talk to you again right back here next Tuesday.
Looking forward to it, but thanks, Steve.
Eric Alwan, folks, as we continue here on Track Talk and Sports Talk. We'll come back after Charlie 1 with traffic and plenty more of your phone calls as we continue 600 ESPN El Paso.